right? So let's talk about Venus. Today is Friday the 12th of September, and this is the chart for today. Okay, so today we see the sun in Virgo, right? We see the sun in Virgo. We see that Mercury is conjuncting the sun, coming into an exact conjunction, and that has its meaning for sure. An exalted Mercury, a combust Mercury. It means people are going to be talking. There's going to be a lot of thoughts, a lot of communication. Communication is very important. And then we have a nice trine, right? Because the moon is here in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So this is a great day to, take a nap. Take a nap. Spend a little bit of money on yourself. Don't do too much. Indulge a little bit. This is a good day for self care, depending on, of course, where Taurus is in your chart. But we really want to talk about Venus. We want to talk about, I'm going to spend the first part of this video talking about the day, and then I'm going to dive into Leo Venus. Okay, so these two square. Okay, Taurus and Leo square each other. It's a hard aspect. And when we have this awesome, like this trine, trines are like a gift, right? And so there's a gift here of communicating one's emotions, right? Because when the sun and the moon are in a trine, an easy aspect, that's quite good. One feels that they can communicate, or they have a good view on their emotions and their experiences in the world, right? So let's talk about moon being in Taurus. So usually wherever the moon is, that's what we're going to be receiving. Emotionally, that's what, that's just why one day you're going to wake up and feel one way, the next day you're going to wake up feel another way, right? Moon changes very quickly, and so do our emotions, our feelings, right? And moon in Taurus, the moon is exalted in Taurus, right? Moon is exalted in Taurus, Mercury is exalted in Virgo. These are very strong earth energies, very strong planetary energies, right? So there's a level of satisfaction here, okay? And Fridays are usually days of, doing all the things concerned with Venus, right? So indulging in fine foods and indulging the senses, right? And spending some of that money, right? And the day is concerned with money. So wherever Taurus is in your chart, that's going to tell you a lot about today. Okay. Now, Venus. Okay. Venus is in Leo. Okay. Venus is in Leo, and I'm gonna tell you about Venus in Leo. Venus in Leo. If you have this placement, or now it's transiting wherever. First of all, if wherever Leo is in your chart, okay, Venus is gonna tell you about your money. It's gonna tell you about your style. It's gonna tell you, maybe your romantic relationships for this transit. Wherever Leo is, that's gonna give you an idea, right? So, for example, if Leo's in your fifth house, right? If you're an Aries rising, Leo's in your fifth house. This is gonna we're gonna be exploring themes of romance and children and fun and hobbies, entertainment, right? So people that are Aries risings right now, they might have more romance happening, might be a big thing for them. Women in their life, Venus rules women, especially young women, but women in general, right? And women that have to do with, like, in a romantic or dating aspect for sure. So we can see a lot of that happening for an Aries rising, right? Just being around a lot of women. The moon also has to do with women. I think Venus is more feminine, so anything that's more feminine rather than woman, right? But the moon really represents, like, the mother figure, right? And also women. But this is why I'm saying Venus is more of like a romantic type situation. Um, let's talk about Leo Venus. Okay, so now if you have a Leo Venus, or you know somebody that has a Leo Venus, you're trying to date somebody that has a Leo Venus, um, I always say, in my own experience, they're some of the best, first of all, best gift givers. Okay, some of the best gift givers. I mean, they rival like Taurus, right? Taurus, Venus, they're good at giving gifts. Um, but a Leo Venus, Leo is a generous sign. And when Venus comes in here, Venus has to do with our style, right? The style, how we date, how we actually style ourselves, the art that we like. It talks a little bit again about our money, beauty, um, all the fine luxury stuff in life, right? The material, that's the word, the material in life, right? And, again, our dating style, right? So usually Leo Venuses, they have a real sense of style, right? The way that they dress, they stand out. It can be whether it's low key, whether it's more gaudy, it doesn't matter. The way that they dress, they stand out a lot, and they enjoy that, right? They enjoy not it doesn't have to be luxury. They do enjoy luxury, but good quality. Okay, they enjoy good quality, and they enjoy giving attention. So when a Leo Venus is dating, they love to give attention. They also love to receive attention, and they love, it doesn't have to be like you flattering them all the time. Leo loves flattery, yes, but a Leo that's secure doesn't need the flattery so much so as they need to know that you are paying attention. And flattering someone and paying attention to someone and giving the right attention to someone, showing them that you're paying attention is two very different things, right? So, a Leo Venus, they go all out when it comes to dating. I mean, they can love bomb. That's a natural thing for them to love bomb. Um, they do it without knowing it sometimes. Okay, and this is a secure Venus and Leo. And they can be real flirty. Okay, they have this swagger, they have this confidence, secure Leo and Venus, Venus and Leo, and they can really make you feel like you're the only one. So you got to remember, Leo is the sign ruled by the sun. It's the sign of the entertainer, the performer. They love to entertain. They love to perform. They can make you laugh, depending on the rest of the chart, of course. Does it have a tendency for egotistical behavior? Yeah. And these are for the Leo Venuses that are not secure in themselves, right? But Leo, because remember, Leo's ruled by the sun. When we have a Leo Venus dating, they tend to turn that spotlight, and this is where the generosity comes in. They turn that spotlight on the person, right? Now, if you are dating a Leo Venus and you are not secure, and they turn that spotlight on you, it could be like too much. You can feel like it's too much, right? It can feel too much, and Leo is the only sign ruled by the sun. So one of the things that the idea around them is sometimes they can feel like they're too much, or people might tell them they're too much, right? So when they shine that spotlight on you, that's really like them showing their generosity. And the thing about it is, Leo, no matter where it goes, it's gonna attract attention, right? That's the sun, right? So they like people that, they like to give their attention to that person, but they also like somebody that can hold their own, right? Somebody that can hold their own, so that when they are shining, being themselves, it's not like they're overshadowing you. They want you to be able to hold your own. Again, very generous. They can be very generous. They're very good gift givers, depending on where their Mercury and Moon are, how much attention they pay to you, right? They really do enjoy like events. They enjoy going out, again, depending on where Leo is in the chart, right? They enjoy going out. They enjoy it, and again, it doesn't have to, a Leo Venus likes to entertain. Okay, they like to entertain, again, depending on where this Venus in Leo is. They like to entertain, and they like to be entertained, right? Yes, they have a lot of pride. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why, if you're dating a Leo Venus, I mean, They like someone that they can show off. Okay, they like someone that they can show off. So you got to have something about you that's that excites them, right? That like makes them sit back and be like, "Whoa, that's cool." And that's hard to do with a Leo, because Leos, they get all the attention, whether they like it or not, whether they want it or not, good or bad, they will get that attention, right? So they want you to be able to hold your own, right? So if you're dating a Leo Venus, take time uh, and effort in your appearance, right? Like put that time and effort into your appearance. Um, don't be afraid to show them that you can hold your own, right? Like, I'm not saying show off, but Leo is a fixed sign, and it is one of those signs that can really bulldoze someone. Okay, so show that you have a backbone. That's so important. Okay, you got to show Leos in general, Leo energy in general, that you cannot be bulldozed, right? They respect that, right? So don't be afraid to, uh, show off a little bit. Or show off is not the right word, but be confident, right? Be confident. Leos like to see confidence, okay? Leos naturally like to take charge, right? Leo is a masculine sign. Um, but it doesn't matter the gender. It doesn't matter the gender. Leo in general, they like to take charge, okay? And that's because they're an entertainer. That's because they have a lot of confidence. And these are, of course, the secure Leos, right? Um, you have to bring that too, right? They want someone, the opposite of Leo is Aquarius, somebody that follows the beat of their own drum. So, you know, you should be able to do that in some regard, right? Um, it's hard sometimes for Leo to share the spotlight with somebody, but that's why it's so important for you to have your own thing and be able to do your own thing and be a master at the thing that you do, right? Be really good at the things that you do, right? Because they enjoy that. And because they want to show you off, you gotta have something to show off, right? You gotta have that confidence at least, right? To hold your own, that backbone. Um, Advice for people, who are dating a Venus and Leo, don't let them bulldoze you, okay? Allow them to show you their extravagant displays of affection, right? It doesn't have to be PDA, but a Venus and Leo, if they really care about you, they're going to spend time thinking about the things that you like. They're going to spend, this is important, they're going to spend the time to create experiences for you that you both can enjoy. Okay. Um, they do like gifts. They do like gifts, but it has to be a thoughtful gift. It doesn't have to be expensive. It could be handmade. It can be, but it has to be thoughtful. And again, you have to show them that you're paying attention to them, right? The details. Okay. Um, some Leos, especially especially if you have a Leo sun, um, they might not do so well with all like attention in certain aspects, but Leos do love attention. So just make sure though that you're tailoring it. Okay, make sure that you're tailoring it. Um, if you are a Venus in Leo, right? You gotta watch the tendency to love bomb. Okay, you gotta watch the tendency to give too much of yourself. This is where things get kind of messy. Okay, a young Venus in Leo, one that maybe hasn't found their self esteem or secure in who they are. It can be very easy to get caught up in love, right? Um, and because Leo is such a warm sign, is such a warm expression, um, people, it's like moths to a flame. People love the way Venus in Leo makes them feel, right? So if you have this placement, you got to be careful. You can't be giving it out willy nilly, okay? And obviously, the only way to figure out how to manage that is to learn how to be in relationships, right? Learn how, like, that give and take, okay? and learn always the best remedy for anything is looking to the opposite, right? So we got Venus in Leo. Look at how Venus in Aquarius operates, right? There's a little bit of distance with Venus in Aquarius. They enjoy distance, okay? And a Venus in Leo might not enjoy distance, right? Because they want to be all up in there. There's a certain level of, the word control comes into play here, right? Venus in Leo, you got to watch for that because there might be a tendency, because Leo's a fixed sign, to want to control. All fixed signs love control, whether they are aware of it, whether they like it or not, they love control. Okay, so Venus and Leo, be careful that you're not giving too much, right? Give with what feels good for your heart, because the heart. Okay, and this is why Venus and Leo, when they go through a heartbreak, it can be, it's a heartbreak is always devastating, but with fixed signs, because fixed signs are like bullet trains going in one direction, if something messes up that speed and that consistency that they're going with, it can really set them back. And so when a Venus in any fixed sign, but in Leo especially, goes through a heartbreak, it can be massively devastating. And that's because Venus, Leo rules the heart. Leo rules the heart. Okay, your actual heart. And yes, you can die from heartbreak, right? You can die from the stress of heartbreak, right? Um, that's extreme, obviously. But this is something, if you have a Venus in Leo, you gotta be conscious of it, right? There's a tendency to give too much to people, especially in the early years, to give to people who have not shown you that they're able to reciprocate. And a Leo needs reciprocation. Okay, like it doesn't matter where Leo is in the chart, because it's ruled by the sun. Leo represents monarchies and royalty, right? There needs to be a reciprocation, otherwise they feel disrespected, right? And that reciprocation usually falls in line with, show me that you are at least paying attention to who I am. Okay, that's what that Leo Venus wants to see. And you have to be aware of giving too much. You have to also be aware going into relationships that heartbreak will get to you. It will get to you. It can be devastating for Venus and Leo, because their heart literally feels like it's falling apart. Okay. Um, Especially when they're genuine with it, right? Got to be genuine. If you're genuine with it, you're gonna feel it more, right? But you have to be genuine with it, otherwise, that warmth that people love so much, they're not gonna feel it. And this is why people get addicted sometimes to a Venus in Leo, because a Venus in Leo will make you feel things that, you know no other sign can really do it. It's the only sign ruled by the sun. Cancer is the only sign ruled by the moon. And because those two signs are ruled by a particular a luminary, okay, there's a way that they do things that no one else, no other sign can replicate, okay? And so they can come on real freaking strong. And Venus and Leo can come on hella strong, right? So beware of that tendency, right? Understand that the feeling that you give to people, some people might not ever have felt that before, and they get addicted to it and they want it. They might not want you, but they want the feeling. They want how you make them feel. That's what they want. So be aware of that. Okay. Um, there's so much more to talk about with Venus and Leo. These people can also make money. Um, if you have a Venus and Leo, you can make money in entertainment. Okay. Um, Depending on where Mercury is, writing, and something that has to do with entertainment. They can also be fashion designers, because they do have a sharp sense of style, right? Like a real eye for quality. Okay, Venus and Leo has a freaking eye for quality, yo. This is why they always got expensive taste. All right. Um, so careers that have to do with Venus and Leo have to do with entertainment. They can do with luxury, fashion. Fashion's a big one. Um, Acting, directing, art, any kind of art. You know, art that has to do with being the center of attention, right? Like maybe you the art, right? You the performer, right? Um, that's Venus in Leo. Okay, Venus in Leo. So if you know somebody has it, if you have it, Venus in Leo is a great placement. Um, but every placement comes with its pros and cons. Um, and the biggest thing with Venus in Leo, their biggest superpower is their heart, right? So understand that your reaction to things and the love that you give is really like your superpower, right? The affection, the generosity, the sensuality, right? Venus and Leo can be real hot. They got a real hot sensuality, right? Like all that is those are gifts, right? And the weakness here with Venus and Leo is the um, the tendency to do too much, right? Without figuring out if somebody actually deserves it, right? If they can actually handle it, okay. Um, but yeah, that was my quick video on Venus. It is Friday, it's a Venus day, and we got an awesome kind of situation here going on with at least the sun and the moon. We like to see a trine. Um, we got a nice sextile to Jupiter. That's fantastic, actually. Geez. Oh, wow. This is, not a bad day. Not a bad day at all. Um, but yeah, I hope to talk more about this in future videos. All right. Take care. Have a good day.